What's up, guys? Welcome to Chris's Habs Corner. So, put out a video this morning already about the recap of the Tampa Bay game. I'm just gonna do a recap on, the three other games they played this week: Colorado, Pittsburgh, and Florida. Do a couple of news updates, a couple of injury updates, just a little bit of an overview on the week as a whole for the Habs. So, let's jump right in it. So, Monday night they had their home game against Colorado before they went out and started that three-game road trip, and boy, that was a tough night for the Habs. Final score, I believe, was 8-4. And Colorado's a really good team at supporting the puck with speed underneath. You constantly saw throughout the game. They activated the last D-man trailing into the zone with full speed and just activated that player coming in all areas of the offensive zone. They were constantly cycling the puck up high, not just down low, just creating chaos all over the offensive zone for the Habs. And, the style of, they play like positionless offense all over the ice in the offensive zone, which in turn really created a difficult situation for the Habs to play man-on-man defense. We saw at times it was a game of hot potato, where one, Montreal player would try to pick up one man, and then kind of leave another man open, and the other player was trying to catch that man, and then it just snowball affected to all five Habs players in the defensive zone just being out of position, a step behind the play, and leading to Colorado having some open ice in the slot area and in front of the net constantly, and that led to a few goals, in the first period and the second period. And you could see too when Colorado's players in the offensive zone have the puck and they dish it out to someone else. They don't just stay in one general area. They drive towards the net. They're constantly moving to just completely different areas of open ice in the offensive zone. And it just always seemed like they were dishing the puck into open areas in the offensive zone with players coming in with full speed, being able to keep the cycle going. And, it was a lot for the Habs to handle that night. It was really tough on them. We saw in Colorado's power play too, they were always really tenacious on loose pucks, 50-50 puck battles in the offensive zone. They pretty much, I believe every single power play had the puck in the offensive zone for the majority of them, constantly driving the net. I thought it was pretty cool to see, Nathan MacKinnon and just the overall strength he has when he has the puck to be able to drive through the net. And, and so, overall defensively as well, I thought that we were really chasing the body checks behind the net along the boards and just couldn't completely smother a play. Just had, overall, the D-coach really had a hard time containing any of the Colorado forwards in the defensive zone as well. And there were a couple bright spots in this game, I guess. Josh Anderson, another 20-goal season, off of a face-off, had a crazy tip-in deflection goal. I believe that was in the first period. He made it 4-1. The power play did cash in, even though it wasn't overall that great of a power play unit that night. That was Garyanov on a really nice shot. There was 2 games in a row he scored a goal, so that was pretty nice. There were a few bright spots in this game, especially the second and third period. Montreal kind of stepped up their game a little bit, played with a little more pace, adjusted to how fast-paced and intense Colorado's game is, reacted a little bit better. Martin St. Louis had a quote after the game. He said, quote, "They have so much motion and movement, it's positionless offense, and it can get very confusing, and I think we just got away from how we want to defend that. We were just so preoccupied with the movement instead of sticking to how we're supposed to defend it." I really just think that summed it all up, especially that first period. Just at times, as a unit, totally looking lost in the defensive zone. But, hey, what are you going to do with all these players injured? And, these call-ups from the Laval can only do so much, especially against a high-octane offense like Colorado. So, I thought, again, another case of bending but not breaking. At least they made the score respectable. It kind of showed up at the end there. made a game out of it, and just did the best they could with what they had. I think the lines for this game, let's see, Martin St. Louis put together Pitlick, Nick Suzuki, and Garyanov. You had Hoffman, Drouin, and Anderson together. Harvey Pinard was with Chris Tierney and Jesse Ullinen. Michael Pizzetta, Alex Belzil, and Anthony Richard were together, And then on the deep pairings, it was Gouli and Savard, Edmondson and Weidman, and Matheson and Kovacevic. I kind of like that line, that defense pairing combination with Matheson and Kovacevic. They really kind of complement each other. Matheson being a more defenseman, Kovacevic being more of a stay-at-home defenseman. I think that, that was a pretty solid pairing to put together in the game. I believe the shots on net were literally 33 shots for Colorado, 19 for the Habs. I think at one point in the first period, Colorado had more goals than the Habs had shots on net. So that kind of spoke for itself a little bit. Anderson got his 20th. I believe Garyanov got his 5th. Ullinen got his 3rd. Matheson, he got his 6th. So that was Monday night's game in Colorado. Alright, so part 2 of this video, guys. Tuesday night, Habs had a game in Pittsburgh. They won 6-4. Snapped a 7-game losing streak. Just a total identity game of how the Habs are this year. Very opportunistic game, and in which they took advantage of the opportunities they were given. They didn't have a whole lot of offensive zone time or a whole lot of chances offensively for most of the game. But they capitalized on the chances they were given. We saw Tristan Jarry get pulled on after 4 goals on 7 shots in the first period. We saw Mike Hoffman score. We saw Jesse Ullinen get a goal in this game. We saw, Garyanov give the Habs a 3-2 lead after a centering pass from Belzil behind the net in the first period. And we saw, Joel Edmondson take that. I've never seen a one-timer so close together with another defensive partner. They kind of played a game of, all right, you have the puck. No, you have the puck. No, you have the puck. It was just a short, small little pass, and Edmondson just wired that puck through traffic in the back of the net. Put the Habs up 4-2 in the first period, after they went down 2-0 pretty quickly there. They didn't really let that bother them too much. They kind of kept playing their game, and they answered really quick when Hoffman scored that first goal to cut it to 2-1. I thought, in the defensive zone, they had pretty good active stick position. They didn't allow Pittsburgh to get a lot of chances from the inner slot area at a lot of times. And they had pretty good communication to probably break the... And then we really saw Justin Barron, my God, with his vision and just his assertiveness on that good, insane stretch pass to Anthony Richard there. Richard showing off his speed and how he has that separation factor in his game. And he roofed that puck from the top of the faceoff circle. Just a beautiful shot when at that point I think the game was tied 4-4 and Pittsburgh had all the momentum there in the second period. He really was coming onto the Habs. There's just such good vision, and that's a confident play Justin Barron probably wouldn't have made prior to his call up. That he just didn't have the confidence to be able to do. So yeah. So even on the transition defense, Habs forwards were really good at picking up the right man at the right time. They did have their rushes. Like, for example, I saw a couple of times Drouin's line. They would come in on the back check and get really good body position and skate past the Pittsburgh players that had the puck rushing down along the wing and get better positioning to be in front of them and then kill off the player, deliver the body check. So it's just overall really good communication defensively tonight, I thought. And, Sam Montembeault kind of stole the show when he needed to a lot of times in this game. I don't really think he let in a bad goal tonight, I mean, 2 of those were power play goals. I think one of them was a one-timer from the top of the circle from Crystal King in the second period.